Welcome, everybody, to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream, where we bring you those stocks with 10x to 100x upside potential. Companies going after massive multi-billion-dollar market opportunities that are at a key inflection point right now, and with multiple catalysts in place. And that brings us to our next super stock, Advent Technologies, ADN on NASDAQ, and the CEO, Gary Herman. Gary, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Jack.
All right,
good
so
being
Gary,
back.
I think what the big idea is from the current news. What this is telling me is we're at the inflection point. This is what we're waiting for with all our stocks. Is we want to get into these things right as you know they're at the threshold of that explosive growth curve, and we see it's happening right now with all the current news flow. I think it basically proves to us that we're here. So I want you to give us the details, but just real quick, yesterday was the other day you announced delivery of the Honey Badger, the hydrogen fuel cell to the U.S. Army, right?
Correct. Yes.
The week before you had another major purchase order from a European company.
Yes.
I mean, these things are all starting to stack up. But first,
yes,
Gary, I know today we got a limited time, so I just want to get the key details from you. Tell us about the deal with the U.S. Army, the Department of Defense. What are you doing with them?
Well, we delivered the final 2 honey badgers of this particular contract with the Army. They will be testing them, and this could lead to a very significant order in the future with the U.S. Army, as well as hopefully other armed service organizations in the United States and globally with our NATO allies.
Okay, and just real quick, what is the Honey Badger? What is the Honey Badger? I don't have the picture, but explain what this is.
Right.
What's the significance? Why is it important? Why is the military so interested in this today?
It's portable power. It's clean, quiet, portable power. So a Honey Badger can provide power equivalent of 125 pounds of lithium-ion batteries. So just think about that. If you're 6 soldiers in the field, would you rather carry a 25-pound pack, the Honey Badger, or 125 pounds of lithium-ion batteries? Right.
So basically the idea is, okay, so maybe people don't realize, but the war, to lack of a better word, is changing, right? There's a lot more need for technology. You see, like what's happening with the Ukraine. You got drones. You got all this.
Yes.
Need
portable power. Everything needs to be powered. Right?
You need portable. They need electricity for all these different things. Everything. I mean, like
Correct.
Everything is becoming much more technology. There's a lot more technology. I mean, you got everything. I mean, like it's not. This is not like what it was in in the Vietnam, right? Like today, you
Absolutely
got
not.
You got drones. You got what do you call it? You got those night vision. You got so much
night
demand
vision, satellite phones, computers.
Oh yeah.
The soldier of today and the future needs to have portable power available to power all of these devices.
Yeah. So again, we're talking about this. I didn't even mention the satellite stuff. Yeah. So I mean, it's just growing and growing. So they need to have electricity, and the Honey Badger basically
power.
Off-grid power, right? Now,
Yes.
I know it's clean. Technically, the hydrogen fuel cell is clean. I don't think in the military they really care about the clean part. What they do care about is the practicality of a guy having to carry only 25 pounds versus 100. So it's 100, which is a big deal. And also
Correct.
It's cheaper. It's more. There's a lot of other things, but that's a big deal because again, this is like the weight thing is a big difference. Okay, how big is the opportunity? How big is this opportunity for the Honey Badger?
And Jack, by the way, just to go back to the Honey Badger, remember it is being fueled with windshield washer fluid, non-flammable, inexpensive, much better than walking around with a Honda generator with diesel or gasoline powered engine. What is the size of the opportunity? That to me, it's an inflection point opportunity with the U.S. Department of Defense and the its divisions, the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. Talking about millions of soldiers. So I'm not saying we have the potential to sell millions of units, but certainly we could be looking at significant numbers of units being sold in the future if the honey badger is adopted the way we think it should be.
And what's the do you have a price on these yet? Is there an idea, or is that a little bit early? Or like how much are these going to sell for?
That will adjust based on quantities ordered by the government, because the more they order, the ability, it's easy for us to bring our costs down as well, since we're buying in bulk.
Okay, but this could be what? This could be like $100 million+ opportunity.
The opportunities are endless. I mean, remember, with the hydrogen fuel cell marketplace, we're looking at a $100 billion global marketplace. Even if you cut out 0.5% of that, that's huge.
Yeah. By the way, one thing we need to address, right? So essentially, for anybody that's new to the program, can you explain exactly? You mentioned the market for hydrogen fuel cells it's becoming a $100 billion market according to all the experts. The applications are for what is it for now? They're using it for drones. I mean, for
drones,
for air taxis,
EV, robotics, space, marine, aircraft.
And
where do you need power?
Yeah. Essentially, in other words, it's kind of an alternative to, like, everybody's all excited about EVs, Teslas, electric vehicles, batteries, but batteries, it's not for every purpose. Just like everything has its own thing, right? So the hydrogen fuel cell, this thing could be much more effective, especially for the use of air taxis, right? These EVTOLs, like we talked about. Was it 2 weeks ago? We had your chief technology guy, and we talked about how, and he actually gave gave a great use case explaining why your hydrogen fuel cell could be much more effective than using the rechargeable batteries for companies like Joby and Archer, which,
correct.
By the way, these guys have $20 billion combined valuations. I don't think they have.
I know that which is incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible.
And ADN's market cap is only like 10 million right now, which I believe is what makes it.
We believe we're very undervalued based on our portfolio of intellectual property, our licenses, and the business potential of hydrogen fuel cell. Again, when we're looking at a potential $100 billion marketplace.
And you know what? Now I know we got only like a couple minutes to go. One thing I do want to mention, I think it's important for the audience. What I like personally, what I find very compelling about the stock, again, what makes it qualified to be one of our next super stocks is, we like stocks which are at deep value, right? And by deep value, like you mentioned your portfolio of patents, technology portfolio. I think you have like, what is it, 100+ patents or something like that? Is it 100 something?
I think now it's it was somewhere around there. It's somewhere between 70 and 100.
And this was valued at somewhere between $50 and $60 million in a kind of an appraisal. I think you guys did on it.
The value of our portfolio is certainly not reflected in our market cap.
Right. So and here's the deal. So if the assets, if the technology is worth 50 to 60 million, the stock is trading today at 10 million. That means the stock can go 5x. You can see the stock go from $3 to $15. Where were we at? What are we at? 3 and change. This thing could be at $15, and it still will not be overvalued. It'll still be trading at basically near the book value of the worth of the technology. By the way, again, the comps in the space, I'm looking at Joby and Archer as they're not really comps, but they are in a way, because I think at some point they're going to need to use like a hydrogen fuel cell technology. I mean, by the way, you have so by the way, what validates this? I don't know why I'm so excited about this. But what validates this, this thesis that this could be used by Archer and Joby, is that Airbus is using tell us, what is Airbus doing?
Well, Airbus is working with us, and we're working with Airbus on their next generation turboprop engines, which will run on hydrogen fuel cells and be carbon neutral. And I think when you look at our valuation and you think about some of the customers we have today, the U.S. Army, Airbus, I mean, they're working with us.
European Space Agency, also.
Correct, that we announced in the past. They're working with
Australia.
us because they know we have cutting edge technology. And this is where we believe the future is going.
Yeah, again, so Airbus is using the hydrogen fuel cell to power the next generation of propeller planes, basically,
Correct.
that they're producing. So if they're doing that, I mean, I could definitely see one of these air taxi, these eVTOL companies use, if it's good enough. Listen, if it's good enough for Airbus, I mean, because they have very strict standards, I think that one of these guys will see that. Oh, yeah, this makes sense.
We agree with you.
Okay, Gary. So I know we got a few minutes left. Company, I think, is again, the news flow clearly indicates the company is at a major inflection point. What are the next? What else can we expect in the coming weeks? What are the catalysts you have coming up? What else can we expect?
Our teams are very busy here in the United States and overseas. What I suggest is keep an eye on our news flow. And then what I'd like to do is come back and discuss some of the, maybe next week, be able to discuss any new press releases that we have put out.
Okay. And I think, listen, I think the more people understand the technology, the upside potential, the use cases,
right?
They're going to see that this thing should be, I explained this potentially could be a $30 stock or more. And as people understand the technology better, the applications, I think it'll be very, very helpful. So
I agree with that, and we can also bring back the Emery, our Chief Technology Officer.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I think last time it was on, he was talking about applications for use in space, how you European Space Agency, drones, all that stuff. So
lunar vehicles, Mars rovers. So we can bring him back, and we can do a Q&A session with your audience.
Robotics. We could talk about robotics. We haven't talked about the robotics yet.
Exactly.
Again,
robotics are a big thing.
For example, Tesla is, what Elon Musk has said is that the robots are going to be much bigger than the car. I mean, it's going to be a much bigger market opportunity for them than the cars. And, they're using, obviously batteries, electric. And I think there's definitely a use case for hydrogen fuel cell instead of a battery.
100% agree with you.
So on that note, Gary, thank you again for joining us for the quick update. We'll catch up with you next week.
Absolutely, Jack. Thank you, and thank you to your audience. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you,
Keep an eye on the news flow.
Thank you. Okay, we'll get. So we're standing by. Gary, you could leave. We'll get the next guest coming on. So you can. There we go. All right. Fantastic. All right, guys, stand by. 1 o'clock. We got a live stream coming up with Wellgistics, WGRX, 1 o'clock. But yeah, the stock, by the way, the charts are looking amazing for both of these stocks. Both of these stocks are looking absolutely amazing. Let me just pull this up for Wellgistics. Here we go. Let's get this thing ready. We're going to look at the charts. You know what? While I'm getting ready for Brian, I'll pull up the charts. Hang on a second. Let's get this. Okay. Hang on a second. Okay. So what we're going to do is, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Hang on a second. Let me get this. Let me get this set up. Let's do a quick chart thing while I'm waiting for Brian for 1 o'clock. Okay, we got a breakout on the WGRX charts. Guys, take a look. Last chance to get on board. Here's the daily chart. Here's the daily chart. Is this on? Is the chart on? Yeah, the chart is there. Okay, so what are we looking at? Let me zoom out. Okay, the number to watch on the daily is $1.10. At $1.10, that's when we break above the 50 moving average on the daily chart. Major algo trigger. Let's look at the 1 hour chart. On the 1 hour chart, you got a key upside reversal happening right now. This pattern that you see right there at the bottom, that's a key upside reversal. I know the moving average thing up top, it does not look good. That's actually okay, because if you look at the 5 and 15, it's already turned around. But the upside reversal is very, very clear. And you also have the volume, big volume today, big volume. which means we had capitulation. People, we had a lot of people capitulated. And I think the bottom is in. Hang on a second. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Okay, the 5-minute chart shows you the breakout. And we're going to have a golden cross coming up on the 5-minute chart where the red, the 50, is going to go above the 200. That's going to happen in the next probably day. We already have a breakout, again, above the 250 and the 200 on the 5-minute chart. And what's next is, again, also the 15-minute chart. Again, these things are stacked up like dominoes, okay? These things are stacked up like dominoes on these charts. First, you got to look at the 5, the 15, the 30. By the way, guys, if you're interested, you want to know how these charts work, get the book or get the video course. A link in the bio if you're watching on YouTube to get the video course or to get the book on Amazon. It's very simple. You just got to follow the 50 and the 200-day moving average. I got a whole chapter in the book. I'll make it very quick. You just buy the stock when it's breaking out above the moving average, and you sell it when it's going below. That's your very simple trend following system. Let's move to, hang on a second. Okay, by the way, Brian is coming on in 10 minutes. Okay, so Wellgistics, the CEO live stream is going to start in 10 minutes. I'm gonna just give you a quick chart update here while we're waiting, and then I'm going to actually hop off because I got to prepare a couple things. Let's see here. 15 minutes. How about the 30-minute chart? Okay, now the 30-minute. Look at that massive buying volume. Look at that big green volume coming in here. Wow. Very, very bullish. I mean, this thing is on a tear right now. Again, that $1, we told our penny stock billionaire gang, the private Telegram channel, we told them this morning that, again, the thing was breaking out above $1, and here we are. Now, I know it's only moved up a nickel. I know it's not a big deal. A nickel is not a major deal. But these things happen, first slowly, then all at once. It's kind of like a freight train. It starts to build up steam, and then boom, and then becomes unstoppable. And right now we have breakouts on the 15, the 5-minute charts, and the next up is 30, the $1.10. Yeah, the 30-minute, but the $1.10 is a very, very important level. If we break out above $1.10, we go above $1.10, then we can go to $1.40 and close that gap. From there, it's $3.50. Again, my short-term target on the stock is $3.50. Short-term target. Okay, and from there, $10. But first, it's got to go to $3.50. How could it happen? Very simply. You got the bottom happening now. We close the gap at $1.40. That'll probably happen by next week. And once the stock is at $1.40, if you look here, you have basically a cup and handle formation. You got your pennant, and then you break out above $2. At $2 is the key breakout number to watch, and I think we'll get there by next week. Very, very close. And by the way, we're gonna have Brian Norton, the CEO. He's going to be on to give you all the fundamentals of WGRX. Hang on a second, I'm just going to get my notes ready. My notes. Okay, here we go. We'll get everything set up. So what I'm going to do is okay, let me do this. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put that on the screen. I'm going to disappear for a few minutes. Guys, don't leave the channel. Don't leave because Brian is coming on in 8 minutes. I just got to get my notes ready. And I'll see you shortly. Actually, let's take a look at let's look at a couple of charts. Actually, let's look at a couple of. I got to look at a couple of charts while we're here. ADN, we put out some notes. We got support $1.75, $1.80. Again, normal pullback after a big breakout yesterday. We hit a 211. Again, this thing is, again, it's also like a freight train. It's starting to move up. We're hitting new highs every day on Hoth. And of course, you have to pull back sometimes. It's not going to go up every day. You got to shake out the weak hands. So that's what happened yesterday. What's going on with ADN? Again, key buying level here on the daily charts. Break at above the 50 moving average. Very, very strong position. Wow, we get an inverse head and shoulders bottom happening. Watch for a break at above 335. 335 is the number to watch. Really 330, but I would say 335 to be conservative. It's starting to happen right now. That's your ADN chart. So that's looking real, real good. ADN. Beautiful chart setup on ADN. Let's zoom out to the 1 hour chart. Looking, wow. I mean, this thing is ready to go. ADN, once we break out of 350, it could be a fast double to $6. Back to WGRX, $1.05. I mean, this really feels like it's ready to explode. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off for a second. Don't go away. Brian is coming up in a minute. He's going to be here in like a minute. All right, I'm going to disappear for 1 second because I got to get my notes ready. All right, guys, we are just waiting for Brian to log in any minute, and we'll be talking about the fundamentals. By the way, we got a breakout on the 5-minute chart right here. As you can see, breaking out above the 200 moving average on the 5-minute charts. That's your buy signal. You got a major buy signal right now on the 5-minute chart, and you got a golden cross about to happen. When that 50 moving average goes above the 200, it'll probably happen in the next couple of hours, it looks like. So it could happen at the end of by the close. 3 hours, yeah, it could happen in the next 3 hours. So basically, either it'll be right at the close, or it'll be like first thing tomorrow morning. But this thing is ready to go. You get a golden cross on the 5-minute. The 15-minute chart, you know, the golden cross could happen, could be a couple of days. That's probably three days out. We're not there yet. First, it's got to go above $1.27. But you do have a breakout now confirmed on the 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart is very, very important. And you have the volume, the big volume today. Volume tells you the truth in advance. Well, I shouldn't say it. The volume basically tells you what is really happening, is what I was going to say. So, okay. So Brian should be logging in any minute now. Yeah, look at this chart, 5-minute chart. We got a breakout on the 200 moving average. That's a big deal. Why is it a big deal? Because we haven't been above that 200 moving average on the 5-minute chart in look how long. Quite a while. Quite a while. And let me see. So the next level that really we want to watch is like $1.10 and then $1.27. Those are going to be the key levels coming up. All right, so stand by, waiting for. Let me see. Pop in. Let me give him a ring. Okay, it should be any second now. All right, guys, stand. Hang on, where is he? Is he here? Okay. We got the text. He's on his way. The cavalry is about to arrive. All right. Yeah, a lot of our stocks kind of got hit yesterday, and they're bouncing back today. So great buying opportunity in some of these stocks. All right, waiting for the login. Okay, $1.06. Here we go. Here we go. It's on like Donkey Kong, guys. It's happening. Hang on, I'm gonna let the penny stock billionaire gang know. Hang on. Okay, Brian is here. All right, guys, we're gonna turn the charts off and bring on Brian. Brian, you're live. Okay.
I'm live.
Okay, don't say anything dirty. All right, you're live. This is a.
I'm live.
Hang on. Let me
hey, apologize. We've got a lot happening today. A lot of really big things. I might even need to pause for just 2 minutes if I get this inbound call. So just letting you know that we just got a lot of things happening today. So all good things. Really good things.
And by the way, we got very limited time. We got a 1:30. You got another investor presentation. So make sure we get set up. Do you have okay? There's a light coming in. I just want to get a little bit better lighting. I think there's something like yeah. If you could move, let's move you over there. Let's move you over there. And I just want to pull up. Let me get the news set up, and I'm going to make a quick intro here. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure we get the audio. Okay. All right, so we'll do the intro because this is going to be on later, and then we'll start. Okay. All right, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next super stock live stream, where we bring you those stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside potential companies going after massive multi-billion-dollar market opportunities that are at a key inflection point right now with multiple catalysts in place. And we are back with Wellgistics CEO Brian Norton. Brian, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Jack. Good to be here, as always.
Brian, last we caught up with you was actually we caught up with you back to back at two investor conferences. It was at the Wainwright conference last week, at the NEBA, the National Investment Bankers Association conference. So a lot has happened. I know we're going to talk about the news today. I want to cover that, but I think it's important to know, like, the company, people don't, I think most investors don't realize, but Wellgistics is really brand new to the public markets, and the opportunity for investors right here is you're getting into stock at it, really cheap at like this dollar level, because it was like a failed IPO. I mean, the investment bankers did a terrible job, and now is the opportunity. So bad for the company, great for investors right here at $1. They're getting in at a deep discount to where this thing came out, and I think you've been seeing, I think a lot of investor interest. I know you've had a bunch of meetings. With some heavy hitters over the last couple of weeks. Again, it's just people are just starting to find out the story. I think that's kind of the point I'm making, is the fund managers, hedge funds, the big money, they just kind of starting to wake up. Retail is only starting to. We're starting to see the volume. Like today is a really strong volume. I mean, like what was your take from the conferences?
Yeah. So, I really want to kind of reiterate on a couple of things you just said. One is that, the company is way more visible and way more exciting today than it was in March when we IPO'd. So, we are at a significant discount. We IPO'd at $4.50. We're at $1. I mean, and so to me, I see it as an incredibly undervalued price point today with us. And go back and read the 20 press releases in the past 6 months and all the things that we've been doing and all the infrastructure that we've been building, our tech announcements, our AI platforms, even yesterday's press release to integrate an opportunity for all of our major stakeholders to take advantage of now greater financing and lending opportunities so they can have better cash flow. These are all catalyst moats that we've built over the past 6 months. I have an incredible operating team. We're founder operator led company. I built this company. I've been doing it for 10 years. I know what I'm doing. We've enhanced and strengthened. It's like injecting steroids into a currently already successful model and making it even leaner, smarter, better in every way. And I think what your investors need to really kind of understand is that, we didn't come up with some cool little widget that services a tiny demographic. We are pharma. We are pharma. And whenever anybody kind of looks at pharma, they get excited because they know that the volume and the dollar amounts and the total available marketplace is high. But even more than that, pharma today is really messed up. It's very, very fractured. It's the U.S. marketplace for pharmaceuticals, as everybody kind of common sense knows, is broken. And so,
one thing I got to interrupt. People need to know the pharma distribution, the market you're in, the space you're in, is a $600 billion market. This is what. So when you say it's, the thing is, you're kind of so deep in the forest. You're in the business, like. People, you got to realize, they don't understand how big the opportunity is. So when you talk about like how fast things can scale, like you realize you take it for granted because you're in it, you've done it, you've gone from 0 to 200 million before, like in a year, and people don't realize how fast it can happen. But this is, I think we got to reiterate, and this is what I'm like, every time we do one of these live streams, I'm always going to bring it up. The business you're in, pharma distribution space, anybody that Googles it, they can see it's a $600 billion market. That's just pharma distribution. And Wellgistics is a disruptor in the space. And that's what we're going to talk about. What are the things you're using? You're using AI, some of the tools you're using to essentially really cut costs dramatically and be a major player.
Let me explain that a little more. I want to help you. Everybody really understand this. Is that nobody's built a true end-to-end model. Okay. We've scoured the market. We understand kind of who's who. Everybody has their specialty in a division of what pharma, drug delivery, and drug servicing looks like. Okay. You got to understand that there's many, many movements that take place when the drug leaves the manufacturer's dock and it arrives at a patient's doorstep. There's so much that goes on in between that it's mind-boggling. Okay. So what we did is we said, look, all this decentralized, fractured, bifurcated, everybody has their little niche. We said, what would it look like to bring it all under one roof, to keep a closed ecosystem in place, and to go to the manufacturers, the drug makers, and say, hey, we will take it from you all the way to the very end, the delivery to the patient's doorstep. We'll take care of everything in between, everything. We don't have to farm anything out. Okay. Nobody has built that yet that we are aware of.
Why, Brian, one thing, when we met at last week, right, you mentioned to me that like there was a drug you mentioned, which was basically like, you're going to be able to cut costs, but I think it was Tony. Tony mentioned, maybe we were doing the live stream from the warehouse. It was you or Tony. But you mentioned you can cut costs by like 90% for one product, which is like, I think you mentioned it was like a $700 a month drug or something, and you can get it to the patient. The numbers were mind-boggling. He said it's something like an $800 a month drug, and you can get it to the patient for, I don't know, like 100, whatever the number is, like 90% less. Yes. And the drug company will still end up making more, like double what they would with a traditional model. People don't realize that. I think you've tried to explain it. I don't know why people but this is what people need to understand. There's a lot of hands in that, I guess, is that what it is? Like in that pipeline, like from farmer to the patient? Like what is going on?
Yeah. So give me 1 second. This is the big call. I'm just going to tell them, give me 15 minutes. Hold on.
Okay.
Give me 20 minutes.
We have you till 1:30. We have you till 1:30.
Let me explain that a little bit better. So, okay, it's not quite 800, but it can range from 500 to probably closer to the top that we've seen is like 700. But this is a top drug in the U.S. by 2 or 3 major drug manufacturers. It's a diabetes med, okay? And what's essentially happened is you have a traditional route that just says, hey, we're going to play the same old game where the big guys win at the top and the little guys get crushed, okay? So a little boutique manufacturer said, I have a drug that competes with the big guys, okay? And instead of me going and playing the same game and being in the same mix with the big guys at a $500, $600, $700 price point, I, the drug maker, wanted to launch it to the marketplace at, it cost me not a whole lot to make this drug, to manufacture it. I'm going to launch it at a much lower price point. Now, the problem doing that is they don't pay to play, right? To pay a rebate, to get it on formulary, to get it covered so that if I'm a diabetic and my doctor writes that drug for me, I go to the pharmacy, and if it's not covered, then I'm out of pocket. I had to deal with it on my own. But they said, look, if the price point's so effectively good, then we should be able to grab a huge market share, beat out all the big boxes with the $700 price, and get it down sub 100 and win volume, play the game right, save the entire pharma system billions of dollars in the end, right? And so that courageous manufacturer who didn't want to play the same game as everybody else, we're working with them, and they needed a route to commercialize that drug all the way through. So we're working closely to finalize that deal. And as we do, it saves everybody money. But like Tony said, the manufacturer actually, instead of playing the big box game, they play our game, and they do make more money with us. We save everybody money in the system to the tune of many hundreds of dollars. And it's a faster, better delivery system because we take it through. So it's hugely important to recognize that this happening times 10, 15, 20 different drug makers with big box drugs that can compete now at a much better price point. That's our play. That's what we do. Okay. And so as we do that, we tell a big story to the whole marketplace, which is there's a better way to do this that saves everybody money. And the key people who are involved, the drug maker, the pharmacy, right? They make money better in our platform than they do in the big box game. Because remember, the big guys, they take everything. They take all the money out of the system. And then the pharmacies are left going, we don't make any money, so we're not going to push this drug. We don't want to do it. The drug makers are like, yeah, whatever. We'll throw it at McKesson and we'll just, whatever happens, happens. So we take a multi-billion-dollar competitor and we flip it all up on its head and we actually disrupt them heavily. And that's the key, the catalyst to what makes us so special is when it leaves that drug maker's dock, we take it from there. But we have the potential here just in Q4 to do tens of thousands of patients with this one product. And, we're very, nothing's solidified. I can't make any promises or guarantees, but we're very, very optimistic about what we're doing with just this one. And we have many, many lined up. Okay. So the drug makers are getting very excited. And part of the reason for what's so unique today, and literally the past 6 months, is Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly came out with Ozempic and said, we're going to go direct to patient. Okay. They said, if you Jack buy Ozempic, you can buy it directly from Eli Lilly. Okay. Through their Lilly Direct program. You want to buy, I'm sorry, not Lilly. Ozempic is Novo Nordisk. If you want to buy a Zepbound, you can buy it from Lilly. Both of them are competing direct to patient now. So think about that for a second. The drug maker doesn't know how to deliver the drug all the way through. They need a company to do it for them because they don't know how to, they don't warehouse it through cold chain refrigeration. They don't ship it. They don't help the customer. They farm that out to another group to do all that work for them. We are that. Okay. We are the farm out group that they say, hey, you guys know how to take it all the way through. Here you go. Do it for us. Because we just want to make the drug and get it off. And then, hey, you service the patient, you manage the care, you help them with, drug changes, you help them with their cost coverage. You do all the things that help them.
It's like any other business. It's like, the people that, people want to specialize. Either they manufacture, they design, but the distribution, that's outsourced usually to always a third party. Somebody else does in every industry. Brian, I think the big idea, I think the most important thing here is this. And this is what people need to understand, because I think this is the whole entire thesis. I think this is why, a lot of these institutions are so excited, or they're getting excited, I should say, about Wellgistics is this. You're at the inflection point of going from, again, people need to read between the lines of what you've been saying. You're going from right now $40 million, I think, annualized revenues. And you've mentioned that the company can easily get to 250, 400 million in revenues, basically a 10x leap within the next 12 months, simply by picking up just one big contract, one of these big deals. You keep referring to it as one of these deals, and you have 10. And you just today you mentioned you have 10 of these potentials lined up. These are big products, and you've kind of been hinting at, you saying you mentioned this diabetes product. It's one thing. So essentially, this is the thesis for investors. Is right now, again, this is the way I look at it. You please correct me or add to what I'm saying. The way I'm looking is, okay, right now the bet for investors is, okay, I'm betting that this guy is gonna deliver what he says, which is going from this 40 million from they're doing a couple of products to. Actually, there's a lot more than, but to going to, I think you have 500 SKUs. One of the numbers are big, but you'll explain the nuances. But if you pick up a couple of these big deals, these big drug deals, then you can scale to 400 million very quickly, and then even go into the billions. Because on the last live stream, you did mention that you're not your goal is not to be a couple $100 million company. Your goal is to get into the billions in revenues, which is the real upside. And I think the investors, basically, they need to make a decision. They basically have to say, okay, well, can this guy do it? Does he sound like he's serious? Does he have the background? Essentially, they're making the bet on you. And I think from our conversations, if people, as they see you, they're going to realize, you're a serious guy. You've done it before. And it looks like it's happening now. I mean, the news flow, one of the things I always tell investors is, that the stock is real, it's at the inflection point when you're starting to see that news flow, because that tells us the pulse of the business. And we're starting to see like the momentum building every few weeks. So
yeah, if your investors look at our past 6 months of press releases, you look at everything that we've done in the past 6 months, it's very important. It's like we're stepping out of a Fiat and we're jumping into a Lamborghini, right? And so what that really means is, can we do 40, 50 million a year every year, 50, 60, 70 million a year, just doing our same old thing we've always done, doing distribution, buying it from manufacturers, selling it to pharmacies, kind of doing some cool direct plays? Yeah, we can do that. That's not what the past 6 months has been. The past 6 months has been massively building the infrastructure to create a very, very different platform for the manufacturers to see as, quite frankly, a very, very sexy model that they need, that they're desperate for. The administration, the most favored nation's executive order basically said, you manufacturers need to get your pricing down. Okay, it's too high in America. Why do you go to Mexico or Canada and you can get it for a fraction of the price? Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Why? Why can I get the same drug somewhere else for $50 and here it's $400? So Trump and the administration said, you got to fix that. And so everybody's scrambling at the high big box brand levels. The manufacturers are all scrambling. They're all trying to figure out, well, how do we get our price down? Well, the one way you do it is you go direct and you kick out the middlemen. That's our model. Our model is direct, kick out the guys who take 50, 60, 70% of the dollar, keep it for themselves, add no real value back into the system. Don't incentivize the manufacturer, don't incentivize the pharmacy, don't incentivize the doctor to send the drug. And then it stagnates. And then the manufacturers are stuck going, we don't know how to lower pricing other than we take a huge hit and just take a lower price, but still pay the big PBMs, the middlemen. And so we said, look, net of rebate, which basically means kicking out the middlemen, we can keep money in your pocket. We can make money, healthy margins for us. The pharmacy can make healthy margins, and then everybody wins, and the incentive keeps going up for everybody to want to participate. You understand that, right? So as we jump into this Ferrari or Lamborghini, we've built the rails, we've built the infrastructure, we've built it all. There's no more, hey, I got to go spend $3 million to buy this machine or this warehouse or get this location because without it, we can't do the business. It's all done. The entire business model is done and built. It's all execution. That's all it is right now. We get deals from manufacturers now. We run them through our entire platform. We make money. We make money in 3 to 4 different ways. We make it on distribution. We make it on services. So all of our different technology, we have SaaS models. We have everything built to make money along the way. And that can push upwards of 30% gross profit margins pretty seamlessly on every deal we go and pick up. So imagine we pick up a deal that has an opportunity for us to have 10, 15, 20,000 patients a month. Play with those numbers, even at $100, $30 profit margin type numbers. You do that math, you do that times 4, 5, 6, 10 deals. And now you can start to see very quickly how this takes off. And this gets us from 50 million to 500 million, right? That's not a hard thing. Every deal we do has the potential to be $100 million deal with one drug. One drug can be $100 million a year. I mean, guys, you see it all day long where, AstraZeneca has X drug. You look at the number, just go to LinkedIn, type in AstraZeneca, look at a specific drug like Farxiga, and you can see they did 3-4 billion a year in that one drug. Okay. If we compete with that drug as an example, then can we get a fraction of that? And a fraction of that, 100 million, 200 million, right? So that's the industry we're in, where the catalyst to jump from 0 to 100 million with one pickup is it's a short play. It's not hard to do. We are now at the point where all we need is manufacturers to execute deals with us on drugs they need to take to market in an alternative route. And that's what we do. Okay. So when you're talking about betting on the jockey, not the horse, I sold my company, Wellgistics LLC, the distribution company, into this roll-up structure. We went public the first tranche of payment to my company, because it was a structured buyout, was the first tranche was roughly about $10 million. I converted all $10 million to equity. That's how much I believe in this company. So when you ask about, is the jockey all in? I just converted $10 million. You can see that.
Basically, you have a $10 million, essentially you bet $10 million of personal money, cash.
That's the first tranche. It's a $45 million buyout, but the first 10 million was due to me to be paid out. And I said, why don't we convert that cash owed to me over to equity in the company? And so I keep doubling down. I keep I'm at the poker table and I'm all in, and so bet on me if you bet on anything, that I'm also taking a massive risk, if you want to call it that, in betting on what I'm doing. But it's very obvious to the market if they look and they see what we're doing, and if they read the press releases and they see my conversions that have taken place from debt to equity, they know that I'm as an owner, as a founder, as an operator, I'm doing this. I'm all in. I'm very, very, very bullish on what we're building here today. Could something weird happen and some drastic market downturn occur that none of us can anticipate? Of course, those things could happen. But we are a very undervalued stock right now. $1 versus $4.50 when we launched, it's a huge discount, in my opinion, that anybody who picks up stock today, give it time. Don't worry about the short-term little blurps here and there, but give it the right time. Let me show you what we can do in 6 months, and I think everybody will be pretty happy. I really anticipate good things coming. We've got a lot of deals we're in the middle of. We've got a lot of press, hopefully here in the near term, coming. And am I all in? Am I bullish? If you're betting on me as the jockey, yeah, 100%. And I think you've seen that too, Jack. I know you look for specific things inside of any penny stock company. For us to be a $10 stock, a $20, $30 stock, that's a given. For me, I'm disappointed that we're not $10 right now. I'm very disappointed. I think we should be. I think we should be over that. But the market determines it based on a lot of weird things. They want to see other things that maybe, I think the biggest thing is we just don't have enough institutional investors right now. I think we have a lot of retail investors, but I don't think we have big hedge funds and institutions.
I think, really, it's look, the reality is the company is one deal away. It's like just one news announcement away from being that, $5 to $10 stock. Because again, going from 50 million, if you sign up one of these new drug deals, and you can do 400, let's say you do 250 million from that one drug deal. Now you can get a valuation of let's call it $1 billion plus, 5x based on 2.5. Wait.
Yeah, 250 million in top line at a.
You can get 5x.
Yeah, you're probably about a 5x. You're probably $1 billion market cap. I mean, some fluctuations depend on features and your float, your price, your volume. All those things kind of do determine your market cap. But at the end of the day, valuing the company, if I was a private company and I'm doing 250, 300 million, and I have all the infrastructure, I have all the assets, I have low liabilities, we got good cash flow, we got reoccurring revenue, annual revenue, reoccurring. That's all factors for a 5x, 6x. Maybe more.
Those are low numbers. Because again, the market pays for that, the velocity of revenue growth, and again, this thing. So it will be transformational. So you're basically one press release away from this transformation in the stock. I think that's what the market is waiting for. So once you have that, and we don't know when that could happen. You have a bunch of them in the pipeline. We don't know which one is going to be first. But what I do know is this, and you know this from experience. Once you have one, it's like the rest are like dominoes. They all kind of fall in place.
Everybody, let me just say it like this. We have a lot of groups on the sidelines waiting to see us succeed with a couple of our big launches. The minute we do, they're all going to come. I think I said this before, that the reversal effect is going to happen. I believe it will. Where instead of us begging a manufacturer to give us a drug, they're going to beg us to take their drug. I think that's going to happen. They're going to be coming to us rapidly to say, hey, will you take our drug and commercialize it and push it all the way to the customer? and provide us the data, service the customer, do the things that we do that we know how to do. But that is coming. It just, that white paper of a deal that is successfully done all the way through, which very few companies can do that, is the key. And we're there, right? We're very, very, very close. You should see some announcements coming. I'm very excited about the momentum that we have, about the pipe we've built, about the good things that we're doing. But like any company, it's always that like breakout, right? Where you're right on the catalyst, you're right on the verge, you're at the thin edge of a fat
Dark
wedge.
is before dawn. It's always dark is before dawn. Everybody, and by the way, that's when all the investors give up. Most investors give up right before stock explodes because they don't have the patience, and it's like you're basically this close. I mean, it's like you have multiple.
Yeah. And that's why it's important to don't be a day trader with us. Be a long player with us. That's what I would say is take a long route. You come in at $1, come in at $1.20, come in at $1.50. But either way, that's minuscule in comparison to what it can do. Don't focus so much on where am I going to be in a week with this group. Focus on where am I going to be in 6 months. And I think everybody will be pretty happy with what they see. I really hope that's the case. And I believe that will be the case.
Yeah. And I know you got a heart out. And again, I would just want to remind everybody that, look, all our 10 bagger stocks, the stocks that, go up 1,000%, it takes an average 6 to 9 months. It's like anything good it is a natural gestation process. It doesn't happen in a week. You got to have the patience, and they all have that same type of curve. They explode, they consolidate, then they go on. And Wellgistics is basically following that same blueprint. And we're starting to see the news. We actually didn't even get a chance to cover the news. We've got to do that next time. The news from yesterday.
The news and the volume yesterday. We got good volume today. You'll continue to see good things. So just hold tight. Strap in. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming. Take your vitamins. We're going to do good things. All right.
Fantastic. Brian, thank you again. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, Jack. As always, really appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.